You ever notice how, like, some of the things we just know about dogs, like, they're not actually true?
Right.
I swear I spent, like, months thinking my pup was just totally blowing me off, ignoring the sit command
Yeah.
out of, like, pure stubbornness.
Hmm.
Turns out he, like, totally didn't even get it.
Yeah, it's amazing how those misconceptions can really stick around.
They do.
And you're right, they can have a real impact on how we interact with our dogs.
Totally.
So unraveling those myths, it's about more than just like, oh, fun facts, trivia, whatever.
Yeah.
It's about understanding our canine companions better.
Exactly. And that is exactly where our source for today's deep dive comes in, Dog Myths Busted. This book is like jam-packed with eye-opening insights.
It really is
For example, okay, remember that whole dogs see in black and white thing?
a classic.
Yeah.
And thankfully, totally false.
Oh, okay, good.
Dogs do see color,
Okay.
just not the full, vibrant spectrum that we experience.
Right.
They see mostly blues and yellows and grays. Imagine like a faded photograph.
Okay.
And you're pretty close.
Okay, so it's not a completely drab world for them, but like, why the limited palette? What's up with that?
Yeah, so it's all about adaptation.
Yeah.
Canine vision evolved for hunting in low light, like think dawn and
Wow.
dusk.
Okay.
And those kind of muted colors, they actually enhance contrast,
Okay.
which helps dogs detect movement way more effectively.
Ah, that makes sense.
So while, that rainbow, they might not see it in all its glory.
Right.
They're masters at spotting that squirrel darting through the trees.
Wow. That's amazing. It's like their senses are like they're fine-tuned for what they need to do
Yeah.
for their natural instincts and stuff.
Exactly.
Speaking of instincts, let's talk about another big one, the wagging tail.
Oh, yeah.
Happy dog.
Oh, it's definitely more nuanced than that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's easy to just like immediately assume that a wagging tail equals pure joy.
Right.
But it's really like their way of communicating a whole range of emotions,
Okay.
like a really fast wag
Yeah.
that can signal excitement,
Right.
whereas like a slow, low wag
Okay.
might indicate some anxiety
Oh.
or even be a warning sign.
Wow. Okay, so it's like their version of like a human smile.
Yeah,
It could mean different things depending on like what else is going on.
precisely.
Yeah.
And just like you wouldn't try to, figure out someone's mood based on just a smile alone,
Yeah.
you've got to consider the whole picture with dogs too.
So like what should we be like looking for?
So think about it. A wagging tail paired with like relaxed ears,
Okay.
a playful stance, that's a good sign.
Okay.
But if that tail is kind of tucked, ears are back, maybe they're avoiding eye contact,
Yeah.
that's your cue to give them some space.
Okay. It's like learning like a whole new language almost.
It is.
And speaking of learning,
Yeah.
I got to ask you about this one, okay? Because this is one always gets me.
Yeah.
You can't teach an old dog new tricks. Right.
Is there any truth to that? Because like my senior pup,
Yeah.
she seems perfectly content to just like, nap most days.
I hear that. And thankfully, that saying, totally outdated.
Okay, good.
Dogs are lifelong learners.
Okay.
And that's thanks to something called neuroplasticity.
Okay.
Essentially, what that means is their brains can still form new connections and adapt like throughout their lives.
So those senior snooze fests aren't necessarily a sign of like mental decline?
Exactly. And while they might not be as, gung-ho about chasing squirrels as they once were,
Right.
it's never too late to teach an old dog new tricks.
Okay.
It might just take a little more patience,
Okay.
a little more positive reinforcement.
Right.
And you might have to like find activities that really match their energy levels and their interests at this point in their life.
That's really great news for like anyone with an older dog.
It is. So to our listeners out there, what dog myths have you always like wondered about? Maybe you've even fallen for a couple yourselves.
Oh, I think we all have at some point. The important thing is to, stay curious,
Yeah.
keep learning, keep observing. Every interaction you have with your dog, from those tail wags to their sleeping habits, it's a chance to deepen your understanding and build a stronger bond.
I love that.
What new questions does this spark for you? What will you discover about your canine companion today?
Think about it.